chapter 6 is not my favorite chapter thus far, and it's really around this point where that becomes the case. So when Cloud leaves Johnny's hotel, he's then greeted by, oh my gosh, these two ultra annoying dancer girls who, by the way, were dancing, and then they suddenly they see Cloud and they randomly like run off the stage mid-performance, which as a performer, no, you don't do that. And they go walk up to Cloud and they explain this Costa del Amor event.
Find love at Costa del Amor.
To which Cloud declines to participate. He says he's following the robe guys, tries to use robe guys to get out of it. And then the girls say that the robe guys are like creeping everybody out. And then they force Cloud into this ultra annoying and confusing supposed dating game called Costa del Amor. And I have a lot of problems with this. So first, could they possibly make the girls like any more annoying?
Right?
Like, could they possibly? I don't think it's possible. They are seriously so obnoxious. I know that they say that the robe guys creep them out, but I would take a company of robe guys over these two cringy girls any day. They drove me crazy. And why did Cloud's appearance like suddenly make them leave the stage and like zone in on him? Like, is everyone else in the crowd, do they already have these tickets to Costa del Amor?
No,
like,
it's because they saw him with his weird turtleneck and his pauldron on his shoulder. They're
okay,
like,
maybe.
You look so weird.
Everybody knows it's because his hair looks like a chocobo tail.
Chocobo butt
That's true.
hair,
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. These are just the small issues that I have with this moment. But the worst part about all of this is the game itself. This Costa del Amor, which translated obviously means Coast of Love in Spanish, which is a terrible name for a game, by the way, a coast. Like, what would you name it? Whatever.
Nice.
And straight up, this game sucks. It just flat out sucks. And the reason that this game sucks is that it's just so completely incoherent as this dating game that it claims to be.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. So you go around the resort town and you play different challenges to earn beachwear, which, okay,
That's hilarious.
that's another stupid thing, right? You win a game and you get a swimsuit.
It's so gamified. It's ridiculous.
It's stupid. But as dumb as that is, okay, as dumb as like earning the beachwear is, at least I can see why the writers made that the prize. Because again, they want to get your party in beachwear to check the fantasy box for all the Tifa fans out there. And they can't force you to go to a shop and like buy it. So this is like a reward system that is set up as a means to an end. So while it's completely illogical in the game, we can at least see the logic behind the writer's purpose in putting it in here. So, okay, if I forgive it of that, fine. But the dumbest part of this dating game is that you're required to team up with random people to hopefully find love or something and participate in a bunch of mini games or challenges. But then when you actually play them, not only are none of these games romantic or flirty in any way, but absolutely zero of these games even require two people to play them.
Yeah, they don't do anything together.
I don't know, for a Texan, the shooting arcade was pretty romantic.
Nice.
So I enjoyed that game.
The pirates, like,
No, I think you're right. I think it's one of those things where like there were different ways they could have approached this. And I understand what the purpose was. Like, they wanted you to play all these little mini games, like little carnival games, and they were trying to find a way to weave it into a thing that like got you to go to each station.
No. That's fine. Why is it a dating game that requires two people and then you go to each of the games and they don't require two people to play any of the games? That's what I have the problem with. I don't care about this like force you to like go play mini game. Like, just don't call it a love game.
The thing that came to mind when I heard about that game was it reminded me of one time, this was many years ago when my wife and I were much younger and didn't have kids yet. We went to this all-inclusive resort down in Cancun, and they actually had something like this. It was for singles. And the best analogy I have here is it was like a speed dating type thing.
Yeah. But did they actually, like, the stations, were they dating games?
No, this was more like they would pair you up with other people and you would go do like, I don't know, snorkeling or whatever, right?
Yeah, but that makes sense because you're doing an activity where you both participate and get to know each other.
Yeah. But it reminded me of that. And I was like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense here. But it did feel kind of awkward, doing it. My biggest thing is like, I would have gone and played all these little arcade games anyway, or the carnival games. Like, all you had to do was like line them up to where like, oh, go do this one and you get like a ticket, and then go over here and you get it. And collectively that ticket, you can upgrade your sword or something, right? That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole beachwear thing, like, I get it. It's on theme, right? So it's an anime. It's a gratuitous beach episode. I get all of that, but it just was like, it was put together a little sloppily. I'll just say that.
Sure, I agree.
Because I'm okay with them doing, let's go around and play mini games. I'll even accept the beachwear as the prize, even though I think it's stupid.
No, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
People want that, they know.
But it was just so incoherent. Okay, so let's think about this. So the Queen's Blood Carnival game, right? So usually Queen's Blood takes two people, and it makes sense.
Yes.
That you are playing against another person. Even that version, it's like a carnival version of Queen's Blood. You are the one who plays and Regina just watches you and insults you along the way, by the way.
Yikes. Just yikes.
So there's no point in having Regina there. It's not a dating game.
So I actually have a note about that specific one because I compare Queen's Blood a lot to Magic the Gathering, right? So there's actually a variant of Magic the Gathering that's called Two-Headed Giant. And then my notes here said like Queen's Blood, this particular version of it was a lot like the Two-Headed Giant variant. And specifically, they use some terms that we use a lot in Magic the Gathering. Like,
it's probably inspired by that. That would make sense.
Like usually when you are in a place where you're pretty sure you're not going to win that round or whatever, you forfeit. But we use the term scoop, and they use the term scoop in here. They're like, why don't you just scoop already?
Do us both a favor and just scoop.
Oh, is that what it's from?
It's very specific to our game. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then we have another phrase that we use, which is called playing it out, which is like, okay, well, I don't think I have a chance to win, but there is the chance that the opponent makes an unforced error, in which case my chance of winning goes back up. So I will play it out. In other words, I will continue to play the rest of that round and hope the other person messes up so that I can get the win.
Why is he playing this out?
And so this game is so close, it has to be drawn from that.
Oh, 100%. I think for sure the people who developed it are probably Magic the Gathering players, like for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But let me ask you this on this, what is it? Giant to Giant? Is that what you call it?
Two-Headed Giant is the name of it.
Two-Headed Giant game. Do you ever get teamed up with another person to just watch you play it in hopes that you'll have a romantic relationship? Because that's stupid.
No, you actually take your turn in tandem. Like two of you will take a turn together, then your opponents will take a turn together. There's a lot of like conferring going on between the two of you as teammates as to like both of you have hands of cards and you're looking at each other's hands and saying, okay, well, do this or don't do this or whatever. And you do run into situations where you're like, why did you play that card? Like, and they're your teammate, right?
I get that. But in this game, it's not that. It's just one person playing with the other one watching, which does not demand two people, which makes it incoherently not a dating game.
It doesn't. It sets up like a player-coach dynamic as opposed to like two players playing together on the same board.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
Except she doesn't even coach us. She doesn't give us any tips. She just yells at us when we play something that we don't do well.
I was like, she just reams us.
Well, she gives you tips by insulting you if you do something wrong. If you do something right, she kind of does that little like, oh, okay.
Oh, I see what you're doing with that or something.
Playing it pretty safe, I see.
Even the compliments are backhanded from her.
Right.
So like,
Sure. It's not a terrible move.
But my whole point is it's not a two-person game.
Yes.
Like the way that they play. And normally Queen's Blood is.
You're right.
So they like changed it and made it a single-person game for this two-person Costa del Amor. And then Pirates Rampage is the same thing. So you teamed up with Barrett, and then Barrett watches you play.
Sorry, but I can't allow you to play this game. Amateurs only. That's our policy.
You can't play this game because you're a professional. You have a gun for an arm.
Right, because you have a gun for an arm.
Exactly.
And like later, the girls also take on that like Cactuar photo mini game, right? With the middle manager guy.
Yep.
And instead of like alternating where he takes half the pictures and you take half, you separate and you both complete the game totally separately and then come back together. Again, does not require two people at all. And then the worst one is the Run Wild challenge.
I like this game.
Yeah, but we'll talk about each of these in detail. But I'm saying, like, not only is that not a two-person game, that's not even a person game. You have to have some kind of animal to play. These are the 4 games on this Costa del Amor dating adventure. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with dating. This is so poorly themed. It just irritated me as a writer.
Oh, no, Jolie. Didn't you see all those couples with those animals in Costa del Sol that can use Run Wild to play? It's such a bonding game.
How romantic. Yeah, I just like, as a writer, I'm like, what in the heck? So none of these challenges in Costa del Amor have anything to do with finding love or dating or anything, which as a writer makes me ask the question, why did the writers of this game make this a dating game thing for couples? Like, it's not an original 7, so we know they're not trying to play homage there. And at first, I thought, okay, maybe originally I thought that this like love challenge would allow Cloud some maybe one-on-one time with Aerith and Tifa, you know, but no, then you end up with Regina, Barrett, Red, and the Shinra middle manager. So it's like, what is happening? So what is the point? Like, it could have just, I'm just saying, and maybe this, I'm probably the most angry person about this. Like, nobody else probably cares. But it could have just been pitched as a solo game, and we still could have run into those 4 characters in those places and had little character moments. Like, it's just so incoherent to me.
I feel like
No, I'm not done. I did not buy it. And it was the reason why this chapter, one of the main reasons why this chapter was less favorable. So I can even appreciate the developers trying to offer us like a fun minigame route like you were talking about, Ernest. Like, even that makes us earn beachwear, whatever. But I just think the execution sucked. The execution sucked.
I think it was actually a tongue-in-cheek thing. And
no, it isn't. You're giving them credit they don't deserve.
And let me tell you,
it's not even funny. What is funny about this dating game where you don't date? Like, there's nothing. It's stupid.
So here's what I think is funny about it. It was like, okay, imagine for a second that our party doesn't exist, right? And you show up to this like beach resort town, right? And it's clearly meant for like couples. That's the whole point of this place. And so they ended up here by some other way, and clearly they're not couples. Like, they're like, you know, a bunch of mercenaries going to do some other stuff. And I think it was kind of almost a tongue-in-cheek thing, is like, hey, you all don't belong here, but because you are here, you're going to have to participate in the shenanigans that are normal for this beach town. And it was hilarious because, like you said, he got paired up with Barrett.
But there were lots of non-couples. Regina wasn't a couple. The middle manager wasn't a couple. Like,
well, yeah, but
Well, they're singles, though. I get where Ernest is saying, like, it could potentially lead to something.
he was there on business, though. It just felt like to me like they stumbled into a couple's resort town is what happened. And the shenanigans just ensued from there because they were clearly not supposed to be in that thing.
yes, but you're missing the whole point.
Right, but Jolie's whole point is that the games that they do play together have nothing to do with
being a couple.
Yeah. But I get Ernest's point, but Jolie's...
And that's probably what they were going for, like with the idea of doing a couples game, but then make the games for couples or for 2 people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like one of them was for a dog. Like, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
But no, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay.